Great topic, partly because it's very controversial and there's a lot of really good and less positive things about coffee. So I want to kind of go over that a little bit. I was asked, what was the one thing that helps kind of jumpstart my mornings? And that's why this came to mind as something that I should talk about for you. So really, I want you to know I'm Dr. Natalie Gonzalez. I'm a retired surgeon and I retrained to do practice in functional and integrative medicine. In Synergy Health and Wellness, we coach and we teach primarily online. We do have a few in-person clients and we learn an awful lot from them. So let's get started. Coffee. Coffee is one of those controversial things. It's always been out there. There's been tremendous volumes of research done on it because I think, we can't imagine that anything that everybody gets addicted to could be all that beneficial, and it is. What we really find is that those people who drink probably 3 cups of coffee average per day tend to have less mortality from all causes. So they die less often from all causes early. So everybody dies, of course, but coffee tends to extend lifespan for people across the board for all different diseases. And when you go above 3 cups a day, you lose that benefit. And even when you go below 3 cups a day, you lose a lot of that benefit. Coffee has a lot of antioxidants, and we think that is the reason that we see less later, I'm saying that wrong. We see less early mortality from all disease causes because of these antioxidants. And I would say that in many ways, we already know that coffee can increase your mental capacity. And that's why that jolt of coffee or caffeine in the morning can be very effective for that. It doesn't even have to be coffee for that. It could be green tea, it could be dark chocolate, anything that gives you that caffeine like boost, because chocolate doesn't have caffeine, it has a different type of chemical that's like it. But anything that gives you that will give you a space of time in the period after you drink it in which you are just going to be more awake and alert. And I know that's why I get more done in the morning when I have a cup of coffee. Now, I've had to go through several time periods when I've had to withdraw from coffee because just like everything we do that we think is good, our tendency is to do a little and that feels great. So we do a little more and that feels great. And then we keep upping and upping it until our body actually cannot adjust to it anymore. Everything we do, our body adjusts to. So if you can kind of get it so that it's leveled out, so your body is not always trying to adjust to that slightly higher level of that caffeine and antioxidant boost, you'll be far better off because then you'll be able to keep it at that, 2 to 3 cup level in the morning. If you, so people that are wired, anxious, can't focus, maybe they have insomnia, maybe they have anxiety, those are people that we often will start them on a program where we actually have to withdraw them from the coffee. And sometimes that can take a week or more. It doesn't, withdraw from the coffee, or if they're doing tea the same way, to withdraw them from that caffeine. And it can be a week or more to do that. And you, if you've ever had to do that, know that you can develop, not necessarily at the time you missed your cup of coffee, but later in the day or even the next day, you can develop a severe headache that nothing touches. We used to see this all the time in the hospital because in the hospitals, many of the hospitals serve decaf coffee. And they would have people who were used to that caffeine, and this decaf coffee would not do it. And so we would have a number of people with headaches that, we were medicating for the headache because of the coffee withdrawal. And all you really would have had to do in those cases is give them a half a cup of coffee, and it probably would have taken care of the headache. So whenever you're withdrawing from coffee or caffeine in general, just keep in mind it can cause a severe headache, and you're probably withdrawing too fast. So just give yourself maybe a quarter cup or a half a cup and see if it doesn't take that severe headache away, and then you'll know just to go down a little more slowly on it. Normally a week is good. It can cause that severe headache, but also really some intense irritability too when you're trying to back off on it. And occasionally we do have to back off on it just so we can lower anxiety, lower stress levels, lower or give somebody a chance to fall asleep normally. We often will suggest that they don't do coffee after noon if they're having trouble with, especially with insomnia, and that can make a difference. And then the other thing is, sometimes we'll go half and half, like half decaf, half regular coffee for people as they're trying to back off on it just a little, and or withdraw if that's what the intention is. I want to say just a couple things about decaf. There is a lot of research about decaf, and it is not actually the caffeine that we're getting the benefit from when it comes to coffee or green tea or black tea for that matter. It is not the caffeine that gives us that increased longevity or increased benefits to our health overall. Because they can find the same benefits when they do decaf, green tea, coffee, or black tea. And the one thing I really get a little bit more concerned about when it comes to decaf is the decaf process. What did they do to take the caffeine out of those drinks? And sometimes they're using a petroleum product to do that. And I am very careful about where I'm sourcing my decaf products so that it's water extracted. It's either, I think they call it a Dutch method or a Swiss method, Swiss water extracted. But in any case, water extracted tends to be a little bit safer because in the usual decaf process, they're using petroleum chemicals to do that, and you're getting those into your system instead. So I really like to focus people away from doing that. And the other thing I have just come across recently is the difference between brewing your coffee with a percolator that has, this is my Cuisinart percolator. It's just the one where you put the water, the filters in it, the paper filters in it, and brew it through there. And that is actually going to take quite a few chemicals out of that coffee that you don't want, and then just give you a cleaner brew, as opposed to, I love the coffee that I make in these containers, but as opposed to use it in one of these, in which the grounds are in the middle here and the water is percolated up through the grounds and into the top compartment. And I love the way that coffee tastes, but it doesn't really filter out those chemicals the way we would like. And I don't know if you can put a paper filter in there. You might be able to, but the paper filter method does give you a cleaner brew of coffee. So you can kind of keep that in mind. Let me see if I missed something else here. Those are more the things that I wanted. On the weekends, I know I like to treat myself a little bit, because one of the best flavors of coffee when I was getting it from the coffee shops all the time that I used to love was the mocha. And I think it was that chocolate coffee taste. And chocolate, not so much chocolate, but cocoa has tremendous antioxidants. Also, if you're sourcing it as a clean source of cocoa, It was one of the things a few years ago that we really focused on because we were finding cadmium in our cocoa products. And what they really found was it wasn't so much in the processing in which we were getting the cadmium, it was more in the soil in which the cocoa was grown. So the soil had natural cadmium in it, and cadmium is a cancer-causing agent, and it can cause a lot of problems in the body, but cancer is one of them. And so we got to the point where we were really focusing on the chocolate companies and really wanting to know where they sourced their cocoa. And many of them have resourced it from different places since the testing was done. In the earlier studies when this was being done, they noticed that this brand of Navitas cacao nibs was one of the cleanest ones out there. And this brand, this is Ghirardelli's 100% cocoa, Dutch processed cocoa. And this is also one of the lowest in cadmium. So I tend to put that in my Saturday morning coffee for just that. I love that stuff in my cocoa. Just that taste of the cocoa and the coffee. I put a tiny bit of, or just a little bit of honey, raw honey in it. And sometimes I use soy milk. I make my own version of mocha on Saturday morning. I love it. But I don't do cocoa every day. I think, you know, it needs to be in moderation as much as possible. But yeah, it's one of those life special treats, I think. So I don't know, if you end up being on here later, make sure you send us your questions. We're going to go ahead and post this as a regular video, and we will be looking for your comments and questions. So I know when people have to watch this later, they think that we're not going to look at that, and we absolutely do. So make sure you put those comments and questions in there, like and subscribe, and just keep in mind that we are doing these every day this month at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, and you can transfer that time to whatever your time zone is. If you're located in India or wherever you are in Canada or England, whatever, and just let us know what your thoughts are. Don't give up on coffee. I think there's just a lot of benefit to it. You just need to, just like everything else we do, you really need to do it in moderation and really be paying attention to the effect that it has on your body so that you aren't finding yourself going higher and higher and higher with the amount of coffee that you're having every day, because that's just gonna stress your body more than help it. And again, the optimal number of cups per day in the research looks like it's right around 3 cups a day to give you the most benefit and the longest longevity in relation to any different health concerns. So that's what we're finding. It's got its own benefits, and might as well enjoy it here and there. And if you have to do decaf, make sure you source a clean source of decaf, maybe one that's water extracted. I know we can get those on Amazon. I've seen them as a Swiss water extracted decaf coffee blend, and so that's really nice to be able to know they're doing that. So I don't have anything else for you today. I will be back here tomorrow. Thank you very much for being here again, and take care. Let's see if I can do this. I noticed I was right side up, and the screen is on today.